Hello, I am Vanessa Bruynooghe. I work in the European Commission in DG Climate Action and in particular in the EU mission on adaptation. For financing climate resilience, it's indeed about the public sector and the private sector. If we look at the report that came out in December last year from the Reflection Group on mobilizing climate resilience finance, you will see that this is really one of the core recommendations made by the group. And by the way, the group was really gathering the players from the financial sector, insurance sector, SME representatives, the whole industry related to financing. And one of the recommendations is really to have this joint action. It is about sharing the responsibility and the action. Obviously, the public sector should focus more on setting the frameworks for climate resilience and setting the requirements and enabling and putting in place enabling factors and structures for such financing. And also the public sector does have a role to play in putting out climate data and perhaps tools that facilitate the access to climate data. And then the role of the private sector is to come in with investment and also to work together on insurance, on products, on coverage for the financing and of ensuring of the climate risks. So the recommendations of the group are really to work together hand in hand on the scaling up of the financing for climate resilience. I also want to refer to the very important package that will come out this year. The Commission is working on an integrated framework for climate resilience that is expected to come out in the last quarter of this year. And it will contain also a legislative proposal. It will work also, or it will give enabling factors in relation to tools and data. And the focus of the framework will be really to work on this joint risk ownership of the climate risks and of acting and on climate resilience. So really this co-ownership of the risk and the action between all levels of government, between the private sector, the public sector, and covering within the private sector all relevant sectors. So it is not only the public authorities, but it is all together, all of us together, that need to tackle climate resilience and financing of it. In the Adaptation Mission, our implementation platform, MIP for Adapt, has been running a program of providing support to regional and local authorities on taking their adaptation plan into identifying adaptation projects and then trying to identify financing for these adaptation projects. We call it the technical assistance program, but it was very light touch, a technical assistance with, of course, a limited budget available for every single regional and local authority. But MIP for Adapt has supported around 125 authorities on the identifying of projects and identifying of financing. And we have seen, or they have seen, how hard it is to identify financing for these projects. So this is really on the ground work that has been done. And the platform has been able to draw some very practical operational lessons learned from this program. I think they're useful to share. So what they have seen is that when it comes to the responsibility for climate adaptation projects in a local or a regional authority, it is often assigned to a single individual. And this individual has many other priorities to take care of. And since they are on their own, they usually can only coordinate, but they will not be able to really invest in the work and take the project from the beginning to the end. So what they found is that it's hugely important to be able to get adaptation projects financed and off the ground, to have from the beginning a team of people around the table from the conception phase of your adaptation project. And that means you take on board operational project managers that will be there at the end, but take them on board at the beginning. You take on board your citizens and stakeholders. You take on board already potential investors from the very conceptual phase. You look at anybody that would be impacted positively or negatively, especially positively, by the investment in adaptation. And you bring them around the table together with financial experts so that they can all together make a project that has a chance of being bankable at the end, instead of the bankability and the financing being an afterthought after the project is completely already designed and set up. Also, you have to account for political changes and elections and work with these changes and work around them and take them upfront into account when you know there is going to be elections, for instance. One of the lessons they have learned as well, is that attracting private financing to adaptation projects is extremely hard, and it needs support because regional and local authorities, they tend to focus on attracting public money. And there is not enough public money around to finance all the adaptation needs and everything that needs to be financed. So it is very important to think out of the box and looking at the project through a commercial lens from the start. So when you design it, already think about the features that might enhance commercial returns or that might be attracting your investors. And to conclude, they have found that it is important for adaptation financing to be also mainstreamed, in the sense that regional and local authorities can look at and can integrate adaptation projects into their normal budgeting cycles, which is helpful, and also look at the normal financing sources that they use to see if they can be used for financing the adaptation projects. So for the financing of adaptation, it is really important for local and regional authorities, as anyone, to think out of the box onto the specific sources of finance and to see what you can do with your existing financing lines and budgets.